Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Everyday Experts. Welcome back, I should say. I'm your host, Sir Joker. I am here with an elegant human being, the lightest of the light skin, one of my really good friends who I met doing gladiator-like battle on the basketball court. And it's interesting that we have evolved to this point of where I now have the honor of coaching his daughter and working with him he's a head coach, but he doesn't want to admit it. But we work together. Mr. Booker has done a lot of shit. I didn't know his name was Chris for like the first 5 years I knew him. So I always called him Booker. So henceforth, he will be known as Booker from then on. Mr. Booker is excellent father. He is a devoted husband. I think they've been married 75 years. I'm not quite sure. They have they have one lovely daughter, and then they have another daughter who doesn't necessarily take to me all the time, but she's a sweetheart. Found a quote that sums up Mr. Booker. Fathering makes a man, whatever his standing in the eyes of the world, feel strong and good and important, just as he makes his child feel loved and valued. So, coming to the motherfucking stage, my man, Mr. Christopher Booker. The champ is here.
Clap it up.
Mr. Booker. Good day. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. It's a good night. It's Friday, Got my fire kicking in the background.
I hope it's keeping the room clean and warm. Hope it's keeping the room warm.
It's keeping a little toasty.
Okay, good. That's what I like to hear. All right, cool. Let's get to it.
Let's go.
The first question I ask everybody. If you could be a werewolf, a wolf, a ghost, a zombie, a vampire, a serial killer, or a witch, which would you be and why?
You said a werewolf, a ghost, a zombie, a serial killer, or a witch?
Or a vampire, or a regular wolf.
Now, I have a question for you. I got to follow up with that. So if we're talking like vampire, we talking like I can at least go out some kind of vampire? Or is it like
you could be any kind of vampire you want to be?
I would probably say vampire. And the reason for that, like when you look at it, they definitely are immortal.
Yeah.
There's a downside to it too, though. They're immortal, so you do get to like live out through all of these different things that go on. But you can amass a nice amount of wealth over that time period. As long as I could still enjoy being in the sun and still being able to enjoy some of the daylight type of stuff, I would definitely take that. The downside to it, though, is the loved ones that you have, that if they're not on that same path, then unfortunately that you have to lose. So it's like the generational part of it, I think, would be the hard part. But I think everything else, why not?
Okay.
With a stick to the heart, that kills anybody. You know what I'm saying?
I think one of the reasons why I don't choose vampires because I wouldn't want to be immortal.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I think if I'm not mistaken, zombie, I definitely don't want to do that because you're kind of mindless to a point. There's nothing there. Okay, well, what do I want to do? All I want to do is eat all day. Well, I want to eat all day anyway, so it's not like that's any different for me now. But when it comes down to like you talk about a werewolf, I think a werewolf would be tough just because when you transform, you don't know exactly what's going on. I think from a vampire standpoint, you know where you're at. You may like something may happen, where you get set off, but you still kind of have your head about you. So
Yeah,
that's
very
my
true.
thought process.
I like it. Nice. You have a picture on your Facebook page of popcorn and M&Ms in some kind of contraption. What the heck?
So, as you didn't know, my name was Chris for many years. You probably don't know that I have an affinity for M&Ms.
Ah.
Well, now I'll put it to you. What are my kids' names? You know exactly what they start with.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Right. So, for my 30th birthday, my brother, the pain in the ass that he is, got me 30 pounds of M&Ms and said, "Hey, enjoy that." Mind you, this is when I was a hardcore gym freak, and I was like trying not to eat that. But yeah, I went
30 pounds of M&Ms.
Yeah, he bought me 10 of the like monster 3-pound bags of M&Ms, and I definitely put a big hurt on a lot of that.
Oh,
so that's why I like to eat my popcorn when I go to the movies.
Oh, okay. And you put your M&Ms in with the popcorn for the sweet and the salty.
Yep.
Huh? That how you always eat your M&Ms? Eat your popcorn, I mean?
That's how I always eat popcorn. I'm not really, unless it's kettle corn, I'm not really a fan of popcorn. That's not my thing.
Okay. Okay, I respect that. All right.
But when I take my kids to the movies, I got to steal some of their popcorn. It's called dad tax.
That's what I do. I eat whatever popcorn I want to eat. I usually eat it before the movie even starts. Maybe like 10, 15 minutes in, I'm done.
That's it.
You can sit there and eat the popcorn all day and it's just going to fill you up, but it just sits in your stomach.
Exactly.
So, was the last movie you saw either with the girls or in general in the movie theater?
Despicable Me 4.
Oh, you saw it already? I'm seeing it next week. I can't wait.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We were supposed to go see what is that? Inside Out 2.
Oh, you got to see Inside Out 2.
I heard it was good. It definitely touches on a couple of different things. So I wanted to take the girls to see that, but I had my nephew with me at the time, so we had to go see something that at least would appeal to everyone. So we definitely.
He probably would have liked it. My son liked it. How old's your nephew?
How old is Marley? He's 12.
He would have liked it. It's about a 13-year-old.
Yeah, I mean,
it's general teen stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to taking the girls to see it. Hopefully, we'll check that out soon.
Okay. So let's get into it. The real questions. What was little Chris like? Was he walking around knocking stuff over? Was he dunking on dad and all that stuff?
Little Chris was spoiled.
I can see that. How so?
I mean, I was the baby of the bunch. I'm the youngest by 6 years.
Oh.
I was like, the boy. So I definitely had the mama's boy syndrome going on. On the flip side, my dad, he worked a lot. So a lot of times it was always kind of like me and my mom. But when my dad did come home, it was always like, all right, let's go do some ball. Let's go do something. So he was always, even after overnight, he would always come out and we would always go do something. But yeah, I was definitely a spoiled little brat, but that's kind of how it is.
We're going to come back to that spoiled brat because I do think there might be some
for sure,
of one of your children simmering inside of you.
Yes. And what's funny too is so you talk about it from like when you look at it from your children's perspective, right? Especially when you have multiple children, like it's different sometimes when you have one. And the reason why I say that is one kid may have, either your wife's or your personality.
Yeah.
Multiple kids, you have a better opportunity to have one of each. So you see how you vibe a little differently amongst, or between the two. So like there's times like I notice I bump heads with the one that you mentioned.
We're gonna get into it. Don't worry. We're gonna delve into.
I know it's coming.
I adore her. I just think
she's great.
sometimes.
Well, I think all kids are great sometimes.
Mm.
But there's always that time where but I have a feeling we'll get into all of that stuff. I think.
Oh, we will. Don't worry, we'll get there.
Yeah.
It's a slow burn. You started talking about your relationship with your parents.
Yeah.
I know you said your dad did stuff with you. I'm not surprised. You do a lot of sporty type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You said your mom, though, you spent a lot of time with her. What was that dynamic like? How was it like kind of different than you vibing with your dad?
Well, my parents split when I was in 5th grade. So I lived with my mom. So it was definitely a different dynamic. I think once that kind of happened, it was a different vibe where, how can I say, like, I think I tried to get away with as much as I could at that point because he wasn't there and I didn't have that, oh, wait till your dad gets home. I didn't have to wait for that. I didn't have to hear that anymore. But I still remember this day. There was a day I tried to get away with some stuff. Well, we can curse because you said it earlier. So I tried to shit. And middle of the street, beat the shit out of me. Dead up, like, hey, listen, this is not a walk in the park. So definitely have a respect for her from the standpoint of kind of some of the things that she had to kind of overcome and deal with. But when it came down to like the relationship with my dad, like my dad was he said to me one day, he was like, well, I never really did much with you or whatever. And I was like, nah, let's touch on that for a second because he felt like he didn't do enough. But for me, like I still remember, as I said, like he would go work a double. Like he was a corrections officer at Rikers.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so he would come home.
Was tough.
Very tough. Like there was no spankings. It was like, all right, let's go. We went out into the yard and did what we had to do. He handled it that way. It was a little tough love. On the flip side, though, I look at how I turned out, and I think it all worked out well. There was some times where, at the time, I didn't respect it. I don't think any kid respects, being disciplined or any of that stuff. But the flip side is, when you're an adult and you have kids, you could look at that and be like, okay, I get why he did it, but I'll do it a different way.
Because I was going to say that was going to be one of my questions, and we can go into that a little bit now since you brought it up because I know your kids are a huge part of your life. You're not really a tough. Okay, let's keep it a being. You do what you have to do, but you're not really like a hard-nosed, tough love dad with the girls.
All right, here's my thought behind all this. And I'm not even gonna say I'm wrong. This is just my view. So I don't put hands on my girls. I won't. And there's a reason why I don't put hands on my girls. I think your girls look at you as a father and you're the first man that they love, right? So I don't ever want them to feel it's okay for the man that they love to ever put their hands on them. So personally, I will never do that because I don't want them to ever think that that's okay, that they have to settle for it. But the flip side is I'm very vocal. I'm not going to put you down, but I will be very vocal and be like very loud. Now, I am not the smallest of people. Funny enough, I gotta touch on this because it's funny to me. Maeve said the first time that she ever said that I look small was standing next to you. I was at one of the games, and I was like, oh, it makes sense. But like again, that's kind of where I am when it comes down to how I am with the kids. I'll give you the shirt off my back. I'll do whatever I have to do for you. But on the flip side, and I tell them this all the time, you ask me to do something for you and I will gladly get up and do it. But if I ask you to pick up a vacuum, takes you an hour to do that. What's going to soon happen is the next time you ask me to take you somewhere because you need to be there quickly, I'm going to take an hour to 2 hours to get you to where you need to be. Because at the end of the day, you'll understand that there's some kind of hustle that needs to be done. And it's not, like, it's not me saying, hey, do this now. Like, no, it's just a level of respect, I think. Like, I think that's a difference in maybe where generationally kids are today.
Yup.
I think it's definitely changed. Did my mom ask me to do stuff and I was like, I get to it? Yeah, that happened. But the difference was, I think there was also a different level of how we were reprimanded or how we were, like it was just different. I think now if kids today were raised the way that we were then, the cancel culture on Instagram, every kid would be complaining about how their parent is treating them, and
it wouldn't even fly. A lot of it wouldn't even fly. But I have a follow-up question, because that's a good point you brought up with your dad, talking about your dad and your mom, the dichotomy. And I think that when your mom's always there, but your dad still has a strong presence, you take a lot of their characteristics of both of them. But I do think that dad's naturally imprint on you a little bit more. So my next question is, you have a lot of like really strong ideals and ideas about parenting, about being a father. Did those come like anti your dad, or with your dad, or from your dad, from your grandfather, from the whole bunch of people? Like, where do you think you kind of got your dad ideals from?
I think dad ideals. So it's weird too. So I don't know if he tuned in. He said he was going to tune in. He might be here. So if you hear pop, here we go. We're about to open up a can. Like he had a different relationship with his parents.
Yeah.
And that's understandable. Like I again, it was a different time. It was a totally different dynamic. But he has issues that he still hasn't unpacked with his parents at this point.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, his parents aren't here anymore. So he doesn't even have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
The one thing that I always want to do is I want to be able to unpack any issue that I have with my parent, with anyone now, because this time is too short.
Yeah.
You're going to ask me a question later. I have a feeling it's going to come up, and it's not going to be specific, but I'll touch back on why time is too short for me.
Okay.
But when it comes down to like my dad ideals, like I had a very strong, as I said, a very strong relationship with my dad. I had a really strong relationship with my mom's dad too. Now you want to talk about tough, like, yo, old West Indian dude, like, you really couldn't get away with a lot of it. But again, we'll give you the shirt off his back. We'll do whatever you need to do for you to make sure that you were in the best opportunity. He would give you the opportunity to do what you needed to do. He's not going to give it to you, but he'll give you the opportunity to get it. So I think my dad ideals came from there, but the difference too is I got girls.
Yeah.
Like I approach girls, like I never had a son, so I can't talk about how I would be if I had one. I think I would be a little different. Like I said, I don't lay on my girls, but if I had a son, I'd probably put him through a wall because he would be pretty similar to me. And I know how I am. So, but I think the way that I like to approach being a dad is, everybody's always like, oh, I want to be my kid's friend. Hey, I want my kids to love and understand me, and I want to be there for my kids. I want them to know, like, we have a great relationship, but I also want them to know that I'm not your friend. Because if I'm your friend, then I'm worried about how you feel about when I tell you what you're doing is wrong. And I don't have that. I think, there's a difference between a parent and a friend. And if as a parent, you're trying to always be your kids' friends, that's where I think we look at how some things go now. I mean, again, I can't talk for everybody and how they parent. Everybody's different.
Mhm.
But I look at my kids and I want them to understand and know that no matter what happens, I'm always going to be here.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be a situation where I want you to hide stuff. You know, I always want you to have an open line of communication. Let it be with me. As again, with girls, most likely it might be with mom. But the one thing I had a conversation with my oldest, and I said to her, I was like, listen, get into high school next year. And
Yes, I can't wait.
So now, this is a funny story. I said, hey, you want some weed? And she was like, no. I was like, that's a good answer, because somebody's going to offer you. Like, there's going to be a day that one of your friends is going to say, hey, do you want to smoke? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And at the end of the day, I want you to understand, like, look, am I going to be upset? I mean, let's be real. I might be upset depending on what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be upset if that happens and then you were stupid and get in a car with this person. I would rather you, if you go out and do something, pick up the phone, call me, and I'll always be there to pick you up. Like, I want you to understand that that's the dynamic of me being your dad, not your friend. I'm here to make sure that you're good. But at the end of the day, if you fall on your face, I'm going to be there to pick you up every single time. I'm not going to ever walk away from you. You don't have to worry about that. But I want you to know that no matter what happens, you can always pick up the phone and reach out to me, and I'm going to be there for you.
That's right. I'm taking some notes.
Nope, go ahead.
We're gonna go back to that, though. So let's go back to you a little bit growing up.
Yep.
We went through basketball. I don't even know how long we've known each other. We've known each other a long time.
I'll tell you right now. It's been, and I thought about this the other day when I agreed to this.
Yeah.
It's been almost 21 years.
Yeah. I know it's been a long time.
Yeah, because it was before I met Denise.
Yeah, because we used to play, and were you just married Denise, or you were dating Denise when we were on the same team, or when we were playing against each other? Because it was before the kids.
Well,
Denise might have been pregnant.
Was that at the Brentwood spot?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so. No, we were on the same team that year. That's
because we did both.
Yeah,
we were on the same team, and then I think we had played against each other.
So I think I had just started dating her at that point, but we met because we were playing at the Y.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I'd probably say I was like 24.
You had to be, because let's see, I graduated in 2000 from college.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, so I had, let's see, I had Ayana in 2005. And Ayana's, Marl's 15 or 14?
14.
She's 14. Ayana's 5 years older than her.
Okay.
Right? So.
Yeah, it was 21 years.
It was a long time ago, because I was probably 21, 22, because I had just graduated college a couple years ago when I first started playing at the Y. Well, I mean, this second time I played when I was really young with my brother, but it's been a good 20-something years, and to see somebody over their lifespan, and to not see each other for a while, and then to see you again and be like, oh, now you have, a teenager and a second teenager blossoming.
Yeah.
How did you get into sports? I know you did basketball. I don't remember if you did football, and I think you might have done football. I don't remember.
Did not do football.
Okay.
I always wanted to play football because I always felt like I was kind of built for it.
Yeah.
I also, as you know, playing ball, like I never shy away from contact. So
no,
it was always
very aggressive.
Yep. So I always wanted to play, but I never had the opportunity to. But I ran track.
That's what it was.
And did basketball. So basketball was a natural thing for me just because my dad played.
Yeah.
kind of like what's up with me and Maul right now.
Okay.
So like, you know, I think it was one of those things where unfortunately my dad has a really bad back. So he really he had to stop playing before I ever got a chance to see him.
Really,
you know, I talked to my brother and my sister, and they were like, "Yo, he was a beast," you know.
Oh, okay.
So like I think it kind of allowed for him and me to have a nice connection. He actually was my coach when I first started. Very similar to what's going on right now. So one of those things where it was a really good connection for us. It was something where you know, he would always challenge me too when it came down to sport, because I still remember, and this was wild practice. I think it was like 7th, 8th grade. He came in, you know, we were doing suicides. And he came in, and he watched the suicides, and I came in like 3rd or 4th. And he was like, if you come in anything other than 1st again, you're running. Like, not suicide, you're running laps. Like, now, mind you, my coach is here and he's listening to this. So a couple days later, he comes back to practice. I'm like 2nd, 3rd. And he's like, run. And the coach was like, run. So I got laps. I'm like, this motherfucker, like, really? Like, this is the end of practice. Like, I don't want to do this shit right now. But I wasn't running hard. And he saw that. He didn't care if I came in 2nd. He didn't care if I came in 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th. But it was the fact that he saw that I was just kind of going through the motions of it.
Yeah.
And was like, nah, man, if you're going to be out here, like, be out here, you know? That's kind of where I'm at with Marley right now. Is like, I'll tell her, like, don't be, and this is a quote I heard from somebody. I don't know if it was a David Goggins quote or it was one of those, like,
David Goggins is out of his damn mind.
Oh, I love listening to that dude.
But he's out of his mind.
I agree. He's out of his mind. But I think there's also a level of, like, if you listen to him, there's just like a level of, like, damn, I could take something from this and apply it here. I said to Marley, like, don't be upset for the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. So, like, when I think back about him making me run these extra laps, you know, I was like, it sucked. But at the time, if I had just gone out and done what I should have been doing in the first place, I would run extra laps. So, yeah.
Okay, last question about your childhood. 11-year-old you before your parents got split.
Yep.
12-year-old you after your parents got split.
Yep.
20-year-old you, 30-year-old you, and you today are sitting at dinner sitting at a table having a dinner conversation. What's the conversation like?
30-year-old me says, let it go.
Ooh. Okay.
He's gonna tell 12-year-old me that. Because 12-year-old me was very angry. You know, I went from having both my parents there to not, but also that was the first time I ever experienced loss because my dad's mom passed away. It was I still remember vividly, like, I had a friend of mine staying out, and this is where I lived. When my parents split, I moved out to Mount Vernon and lived with my mother. And had a friend of mine come out there, hanging out. He said some shit, and I literally snapped. At that point, like, we just got into it. And it was because I did not know how to just let it go. Now, I'm not going to talk about 20-year-old me. We'll go to 23-year-old me. Again, 30-year-old me is going to sit and talk to that person and say, let it go. Talk about an experience of loss. And this is, I told you earlier, I figured you were going to ask a question, so I knew it was going to come out. I lost a really good friend of mine
Mm.
when we were 23.
Mm.
So I think the whole, I'm never going to blame or point a finger at something, but I just, at this point, like I didn't know how to handle certain things. And I still to a point say, you know, like loss is tough. But the hardest thing about this one was that I saw it. I witnessed the whole thing. I put a lot of blame on myself, you know, when it happened because of it. This was like, I used to ride motorcycles. I don't know if you knew about that part. So I rode for.
Yes, I vaguely remember that.
I rode from 21 to the time I had Marley at 30. So to the time I was 30. And this was like one of the, that was just my thing. He didn't ride. He just came. And unfortunately was in the wrong place, the wrong time. He got hit by a bike. And when I tell you that I was angry, like that doesn't even begin to cut it. Now, mind you, at the time, you know, I was like, fuck it, I'm good. I don't need to talk to anybody. I don't, you know, I don't have nothing to say. I'll be all right. And fast forward a few years. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't cry about it. I cried about it. I didn't. It never like resonated and hit me, right? So I still remember there was one night. It was when I first started dating Denise. Went to a party. I had way too many, but it was at a friend of ours' house where me and him actually hung out. So all of a sudden that shit, when I tell you it hit, like, I'm talking ugly crying, like shit wouldn't stop. I couldn't even like I didn't know how to get it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Got to a point like I'm laying on her lap and I'm just like just losing it. And at that point, that's kind of when I also realized like this is the person, because I kind of started to.
Shout outs to Denise.
Yeah, well, shout out to
girl.
Denise.
Who doesn't like me, but you know,
so at that point, like I kind of felt a lot of it kind of ease away, you know, which was something at that point I really like. I needed like it was a really tough thing for me to go through when it happened. But to be able to kind of get to that point was a big one. So now, 30-year-old talking to 11-year-old me, like, bro, just keep having fun. Just like, don't let any of the stuff that's gonna happen in your future change you. Try to, you know, still have that carefree kind of mind. Don't worry about anything else because it's not your fault. You know what I mean? Like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. Whatever happens between your parents, it ain't your fault. You know, and I think a lot of kids need to hear that, especially in some cases when they go through a change like divorce, because a lot of kids may blame themselves. I know I did to a point, but at the end of the day, 30-year-old, 23-year-old, maybe not 12-year-old, but those other two would have been like, yo, just keep having fun. Don't worry about nothing else. You know? Also, 30-year-old me would have told 11 and 12-year-old me to take sports more seriously. And take the opportunities that are given to you more seriously. Because, you know, you always, like, they talk about like that quarterback mind. Hey, everything is better like afterwards. Like I threw the pick, I shouldn't have threw it, but
yeah,
you know, I think at the end of the day, just having that opportunity to tell yourself to take advantage of what you're given is a huge thing.
Okay, look at that. I like it. Follow-up question. You said that you were very angry. You said that, you know, you didn't have nothing to say. You let it out. You kind of broke.
Yeah.
If Denise was the answer to the question of your anger, are your girls now part of the reason that you kind of done a 360 personality or 180 personality wise and how you kind of carry yourself? Because I don't see anger. I don't see frustration. I see, yeah, you want the best for them. I see tough love. But is that why you had girls?
How about this? And I always see these memes and all this stuff online. It's like, hey, always ask the person who doesn't seem angry or who always seems like they're good, are you good? Because I don't like, I'm not necessarily gonna always like. There's still a lot of anger in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's something that I still haven't necessarily gotten rid of.
Mm-hmm.
And it pops out sometimes. Like it'll pop out. Like,
yeah.
Don't be the person to jump in front of me on the highway. Like it'll come out. I also I think with the girls, that is, I tell them all the time, like, look, you haven't ever seen me angry.
You don't want to.
But the first time that you need me for a specific reason, and you see me in that environment, and you understand how angry I am because somebody did something to you or your sister or your mother or any woman in my family, then you'll understand how angry your father could be. I hope that you never see that man, because I don't like that man. I'll tell you that, I don't like that person. But like, I've had calls from, I got 3 sisters. I've had calls from sisters like, oh, well, I'm going through this. Did he hit you? Did he did it?
Yeah.
Nope. Then that's it. There's nothing else there's nothing else that I can offer to you. Like, I'll listen to everything you have to say and I'll be here for you. But if you still choose to be there, then that's it. That's on you. But if somebody does something to, in a situation, a lot of times they won't tell me. So go figure.
They don't want to bring out the rage monster.
No.
A lot of female presence, like strong females in your life, strong female presence.
Yes, like,
right. And I know your dad and your grandparents. I know you have males in you, but you have a very, big presence of females in your life. I wonder why. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I can't tell you. I guess there's more females than males in this world. But when we talk about the dynamic, like, I'm the only dude in my house.
Yeah.
I mean, I got 2 dogs and both of them are chicks. I know you. I can't call it, man. Like,
yeah.
I think I do very I think I work well with them.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think, and that's the one thing about sport too. Like, you can be aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say be an asshole, but you could be a bit of an asshole. And it's all good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, you can't be aggressive all the time. Like, so it's like, I got really good guy friends. I mean, one of them we know can't make a layup to save his life, but
and then tries to blame people in the stand that are watching. Oh, it was your fault. I hope Scotty Hightower is watching. Shout out to Scotty.
Yeah, shout out to Scotty. Recovering from the knee surgery, but if you are watching, be well. But yeah, I got some really good guy friends. It's just, I mean, even to the point, like, the best man at my wedding was a woman.
Oh,
yeah.
Your sister?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I like that.
It was a different vibe. Like, they weren't even gonna let her be the best man because they thought she was like, Catholic church. They were like, thought she was a lesbian. They were like, no, can't have a woman. I was like, she's freaking 7-8 months pregnant, and her husband's in the wedding party as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's fine then. So, yeah,
Oh, okay.
They switched up quick at that
Yeah.
point.
Let's talk about professional booker, like
Yeah.
college and all that stuff. Did you go to college?
I did.
Where'd you go?
I went to SUNY Old Westbury.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you major in?
I made it in political science.
Really?
Yeah. So I was planning. I had these lofty goals. And actually, they still come up from time to time, and I still kind of question if I want to go back to school to do it. But I wanted to be a lawyer.
Lawyer, yeah, that makes sense.
I wanted to be a lawyer. I still do to this day, and I'm tempted to kind of go back. But the flip side of it is, I got a pretty big plate.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It's hard to go back to school for that when I have everything else that's kind of already on my plate. So I just kind of, am where I'm at right now.
Interesting. Now, you work at Cablevision or you work at Spec? I don't want to get it.
I don't work at either one. I work for a company called Lightspeed.
Lightspeed, okay.
So I work in education, right? So I work with educational technology. Yeah. I try to bridge the gap in the classroom, promote a little equity in the classroom. That's, the company I work for, but then I also do real estate. So if you don't know me, I am an open book and I talk to everyone.
Oh, I know.
I mean, to the point that I think it was July 4th. I'm driving my Jeep, bus, like literally a big old, bus pulls up to me, rolls down the window, and I'm having a full-on conversation with this dude. And my wife is in the car, like, yeah, your dad talks to everybody. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. So I think professionally with what I do now, like I'm in sales, there's a lot of customer relations. There's a lot of like deeper relationships. I'm asking somebody to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not like it's a quick sale. It's a relationship that I've built and nurtured to the point where, I have people that ask about my kids. I ask about their kids because you kind of start to develop personal relationships with these people. And I think in the long run, those are the kind of relationships that you really want to kind of keep.
Who was your professional role model?
I don't know, to be honest with you, because nobody like, I will say this, like my parents, they worked. You know what I mean? Like my mom worked hard. We would leave the house at 6 a.m. She would come back 7, 8 o'clock at night. So turn around, do it again. My dad, as I said, he was in corrections, and for most of his career, at least from what I remember, like he was always working. As I said, let it be overnight, let it be a double, let it be. His schedule was always kind of crazy. But I always remember looking at them and understanding, like, gotta work.
Yeah.
Gotta go do, like, especially now, like having kids, having a wife. My mom lives with us as well, making sure that everybody in the house is taken care of. It's a lot, so it's just like you got one choice, bro. Like either get up and go do it or don't.
You got a voluminous plate, sir.
Yes. I said I like to eat, so
I know. So we talked about Scotty. Then you got Jazz. You have like a circle of friends that for as long as I've known you, you've been friends with them.
Yeah. Like, so Scott, all right, there's 3 of us when it comes down to Scotty, right? It's me, Scotty, Christina, Linda. 4 of us, sorry.
Yeah.
We've known each other since kindergarten.
Oh.
I say we go back.
Yeah.
But then there's some new people that kind of came in along the way, which I think is great. You got I'm gonna screw this whole thing up. The reason, the season, and a lifetime, I think, is the 3 friends that you get. You know I said that I had a best man who was a female.
Mm-hmm.
Now that was, I still remember during her speech, you know, she said the only reason I'm up here is because Dave isn't here, because he passed away obviously a couple years prior. So, you know, that would have been another lifetime friend. Like, I knew him forever. So yeah, as I said, like, I have a group of people that you've always kind of seen me with.
Yeah.
You know, but on the flip side, like, I'm also always open to meeting new people, and because I think that, especially as you get older, and your life changes, your lifestyle changes, so your friends are going to change. You're going to find people in your life that have different motivations, have different goals, have different ideals, things that you're going to kind of click with as you get older. And you know, I found them. You know, like, so now instead of talking about basketball, I talk about finance with some friends. You know, because you got to get to the point where it's like, I don't want to work forever, but I also maybe understand about, you know, like, I got friends who are older who have a lot more experience in certain things. So when we talk, you know, it's like, well, what are you doing to invest here? Or, you know, talk about how we can maybe, you know, boost, you know, this money here. Like, those are the kind of conversations I try to have with people, because I think, again, as you get older, your conversations have to change a little bit. Even with your tight friends from when you were younger, I think the benefit to having those friends is they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit what you have. They don't give a shit, you know, where you live. They don't care about any of that. But what they do care about, like, there's people who I haven't seen or talked to in years. But the first time we get on the phone, we can sit there and just chat. Like, you know, we talk all the time. And it's like, those are the people that I really love having, because they always bring you back, no matter how, you know, far removed you get from certain things. Those friends always kind of snap you back to a reality check.
It's a good question. I have a question. So, as we you know, you allowed me to coach your child this year, you have been removed from basketball a little bit, from what what you said.
Yep.
Did that same thing kind of happen, where you kind of were brought back into what you like love about basketball and what you love about the competition and the sport?
So, you know what? I was removed from basketball. I was playing competitively up until, let's say, COVID. Like, I had a game the day before the world shut down.
Yep.
And then when COVID hit, let's see, you know, everybody handled COVID differently. I did not handle it well. And I'll explain why I say that. I said I like to eat. I also love to cook. And I learned how to cook every single thing under the sun. And I went from being a quite in shape dude before COVID to one that is not in shape after COVID. And, you know, once it all kind of went back to normal, I just really was not physically capable to play ball. And I hated it. Like, not being able to get out there and play, you know? So I think the one thing, you know, that definitely kind of snapped me back was seeing my kids out there playing, but knowing that they never got a chance to really see me play, you know? And I was like, damn, I need to figure this out, get back in shape, and really put myself in a position where I can actually play again. So now, not only am I going to see them, but hopefully they'll want to be like, hey, Dad got a game. Let's you know, go watch Dad play. What I really missed about the game, though, is, again, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what, like, all right, two loves that I've had is basketball and motorcycles. I gave up motorcycles because I have kids. But it was so freeing. Like it was literally like, doesn't matter what what was going on. I hopped on the back of the bike, I'm out, and it was just like a weight lifted. Basketball was kind of like a similar thing because, let's say I had a bad day. Doesn't matter. My teammates need me to perform, right? So at the end of the day, let's say I had a bad day and I'm like, I feel a little more aggressive. Trust me, you would know when we're playing how this is going to go. You would know if, let's say, I was in that aggressive mode that day. So it was always a good outlet for me. One that I've always loved. I've always had a passion for. Now kind of getting the chance to see it through Marley's eyes is a wonderful thing. Like we went to go see a game yesterday. We went to the Liberty game. But getting to see her in her element, getting to see her excited about a team and about players and about, how she wants to perform it's a beautiful thing. And one that I hope I can continue to at least maybe pass on more of to her.
Okay, we're going to go back to that in a little bit. Only the wisest and stupidest of men never change. Confucius. You meant Denise Booker. Tell me about that.
How I met her?
Just in general.
So when Denise and I met, they always say, you're not looking for somebody. That's when you find them. So I had literally just got out of a pretty shitty relationship. I was very sick at one point in time. To the point where I was hospitalized for like 8 to 9 days. Had to have surgery. Then after that, I was on a battery of all kinds of medications just because whatever. And the girl I was with for 3 years at the time basically was like not there. So I was like, this shit don't seem right. So literally got home. I think whatever day I got home, we broke up 2 days later. Cool. Fast forward. That was April. Fast forward 6 months. I met Denise. Actually, she kind of pursued me. Look at that.
Oh, Denise shot her shot. Go ahead. I'm not surprised.
She shot that shot. And,
I'm not surprised because she might be more competitive than you are.
Yeah. Man, listen, I think one of our early dates, we went to Dave & Buster's. And she was like, well, I play a little basketball, whatever. I was like, all right, whatever. Let's go shoot. So we go to the court, like that little, whatever that little game is in the back, but with the real basket, like the real 10-foot basket. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let me just, just take these shots and go real easy. I'm looking over and I'm like, yo, she is literally torching me right now.
Yeah.
So at that point, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I'm not gonna let her win. I can't. Like, this is just that. So, just super competitive. Like, we were just going at it. But yeah, very competitive. But when we met, it was one where I didn't know what was going to happen. Like we knew a lot of the same people. She's younger than me, but I knew her ex through Dave, who passed away. That was one of his best friends. So at that point, I was really like, I don't really see this. I don't understand or know if this is going to go anywhere. And then over time, it just clicked. And what is this? That's 2006. 18 years later, we're still here.
18 years. Woohoo! I love it.
Yo.
What's the key to your relationship? What keeps you guys going strong?
Her patience. That's all I can say.
She's patient.
Her patience. I'll say, we have a good relationship. I think one of the things, and this is sometimes, I think everybody in a relationship kind of goes through this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't always appreciate the person you're with. You tend to forget why you're with the person you're with. And I think that in any relationship that you're in, you have to continue to court and date the woman or man that you're with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, unfortunately, like we just moved into a new house. So
congratulations, by the way, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And I think, unfortunately, though, that for the past, like, however many months from the whole process, like, we really lost track of that, you know, but that's definitely something that we have to get back to doing a little more. But always know, like, it's crazy when you look at it, and for me to be like, damn, 18 years is a long time, like,
oh yeah,
it's almost getting to a point where it's been, another few years is half my life, so she's a great mom. She's always there for the girls no matter what. She's always there for me no matter how, like, crazy of a thought that I have. She's always there to support me. And I truly do appreciate that. I don't think I say that enough. But I do appreciate, her being there no matter what I'm trying to do or what new job I'm looking at, because she's always there and she always got my back.
The quote says, to her, the name of father was another name for love. What's it like being a girl dad?
Scary.
Oh, yeah.
Scary, joyful, crazy. But it's also like something where, funny. I was today, like, doing a shape up, or I'm shaving or whatever. Maddie comes in and she's like, "Can I do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, like, go ahead, you whatever." I was like, I'm trying. I want to make sure you know what you're doing, so when I'm old, you can take care of me and shave. She was like, "I think you'll be able to do this by yourself." But just knowing, like, the dynamics with having girls is so different. Like, again, there's two of them, so both have their own personalities, both treat things differently.
Oh,
like I say it, I'm looking at your wall right now. You got Wednesday on your wall, and that's Marl. Like, she's always at
gang Wednesday.
Looks out for her fam always, but she's also kind of like, but every once in a while, you are lucky enough to get a great, hug or have a great moment with her. Like, she's that kid. While Maddie, on the other hand, like, cuddly all day. Doesn't matter. She was the most
interesting. I think that my experience with them is different. I think it's the opposite. I think Marl has a lot of your personality.
Yes.
She reminds me a lot of you, even playing basketball. Kind of focused and quiet, doesn't really say much.
Yep.
In her head.
I try to get, so that's another thing too about basketball. Since you asked, I'm gonna go back to that for a second.
Yeah.
Another thing I love about basketball, and what I hate, and yes, I'm saying this to you right now out there in this internet world, I hate about the game today is that everybody feels like they gotta open their mouth to prove their point. The reality of the situation is this: shut up and play, right? Shut up, focus, do what you need to do, and let your game speak for itself. Now, I'm not getting to a point where I'm saying just shut up and dribble. That's not what I mean when I say that. There's a difference. When you're on a court, you don't need to open your mouth. You don't need to celebrate after every single play. Act like you've been there before. And it's like, that's the one thing I always tell the kids, and with Maddie too, like Maddie with other types of sports, but when it comes down to telling them how to act, always be respectful of the person that you're going up against. But here's the thing. There's a difference. I'm respectful of you, but I'm still out here to kill you. Right? So there's times like when we're out here and I see them with their friends and all of this other stuff, I'm like, hey, for the next 45 minutes, I don't want you giving half. Like, nah, there's none of that. This is not.
That's the generation. They high five each other and they all talk. And that's my friend on this team, and that's my friend on this team, and that's my friend. We didn't have that.
Nah. Even watch this shit. So we already talked about Scotty. You understand, like when me and Scotty was on opposite teams. Now this is my boy. Like, yo, I'm trying to kill this dude just because, like, I think it's a different level of respect. Like I'm giving you the respect of understanding that I'm not going easy on you.
Yeah. No.
But I think that the generation today, the difference is it's about likes. It's about, like for us, the likes was at the end of the day. If we lose the game and let's say they lost the player, if they said, yo, we're going to grab him. That was the only like that I ever needed was they were like, yo, I'm picking him up. We just dropped him. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not about that anymore.
Did you ever want a boy? Or do you guys want a boy?
Are
you done?
No, we're done.
Done?
Done. So circumstances. So
okay.
So that's the reason why we're done. But
okay.
But we did want a boy, right? So much so that I was dead set that Maddie was a boy. I was like, that's a boy. Like we didn't want to find out, right? So Denise, when she was getting the sonogram done, she looked at the screen and was like, fuck. Like, she didn't tell me though. So she had the doctor put it in the envelope and then she put it on my pillow. And she was like, if you ever want to know, it's there, whatever. Long story short, yeah, I got girls. But yeah, we, like I think every guy would love to have a boy, but I was blessed to have girls. I gotta say this. I'm blessed with two healthy, intelligent young women. Like, I can't ask for more. And I think that when I look at what I have, I wouldn't want anything different.
Yeah, I respect it. I like it. All right,
got the best of both worlds.
I have 2 boys and 2 girls. I'm trying to send them all back. No, so I never really took to the girl dad movement. Not that there's anything wrong with it, because I'm a girl dad, but I'm also a boy dad. But I would say I'm a dad. And I'm sure you'd probably say the same thing. I'm a dad because, I think it's a different experience coaching a team of girls and kids that aren't your kids biologically.
Yes. I'll say this, right? Yes, we coach together, but I've also coached, separate.
Yeah. You're a real coach.
And one of the things for me is like when I screwed up or when I had guys on my team made a bad play and it cost us a game. I had a girl that messed up. And I had to literally talk her down. Like she was emotional.
Yeah.
And somebody said, like another quote, I can't remember who said it, but they were like, boys need to play good to feel good. Girls need to feel good to play good.
Yep.
And that is so true because when they feel good, you see it. Like you just see how they perform, how they carry themselves. Like I always try to make sure that my girls understand, like, yo, you're good.
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing to worry about, you know. So like go out there, you know, and just right now, this is just go have fun, be competitive, put that, I do tell them put that killer hat on, but
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So,
What's it like coaching but not being a head coach when you're used to being the head coach?
well, I think our dynamic is weird. Like not weird. I think it's cool because like you're louder than me,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
But I come at the girls in a different way, and they listen to both of us.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean? The only thing that I think you and I are very loud about together is refs.
Oh yeah.
And you know, that's one of the things. Or even like just coaches and sometimes how they interact that we both have issues with. But I think and being like the head coach and being like, you know, I've never been a head coach. And let me explain that. Is that, you know, like even when I was coaching the girls at their school,
Yeah.
Denise coached with me. So we always had a dynamic where it's like, I always want the girls, even if it's like, yo, you listen to both coaches. Like,
yeah.
there's no one person here because everybody, especially at this level, you're gonna learn from everyone. So I can't really say the difference of being a head coach to not being a head coach because and I've always told you this, like I'm not the head coach because I think that at that point we both are able to put something out there that the girls are going to take.
Yeah.
Let it be practice that we handle drills differently. I'm like, yo, run. You know what I'm saying? Like you run. I don't care if you did whatever.
Yeah.
We got suicides, but you're like, no. this is where your caring side comes out. And I'm like, whoa, if that was us, and our coach, what would we be doing right now? We would be. I still remember like a drill in college where like I think it was 10 times back and forth, like all the way, right? But you had it was a dunk every single time. Dunk. And at the end of it, it's like I'm throwing up in a garbage can.
Oh right? Yeah.
But why can't we do that now? Let's, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to throw up.
Yeah.
I want to push them.
So I think where you pushed them like you were pushed.
Yes.
I pushed them the opposite of how I was pushed. Because I think what the difference, and I know you coach your girls, and then I have a follow-up question. I think coaching girls is intrinsically different because you're not really coaching basketball. You're coaching them in their feelings and their emotions. And they'll hold on to stuff.
True.
And they'll hold on to stuff.
True.
So my question is, sir, what was it like for you to take a step back with coaching your daughters?
So all right, it's hard because I want to push, like I want to push, but I don't want to push them away from the game. So like, yeah, I would definitely, and you've seen it, like you kind of see how it is. Like I'll be like, but at the end of the day, the car ride home is different.
Yeah.
Right? The one thing that I will say about coaching my girls, don't call me dad on the court. At all. Like you, at this point in time while we are here, are not my daughter. You are you're one of my players. And there's a reason why I think you have to be able to
delineate it.
That line, right? Is because if you don't do that, you don't ever want your kids to feel like they're going to get special treatment. You don't ever want a parent to feel like your kid's getting special treatment. And I've told you, pull her ass out the game.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, she's a player. At that point, I am not going to treat you different. Now, that's a lie as well. And here's the reason why. Same reason when my dad saw me out there running and knew I wasn't giving it my all.
Yeah.
I can look at you and say, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Because I know what you're capable of doing. Like I see it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we're here, you want to do something completely different from what we worked on and what I've seen you do. So you have to still kind of have that coaching hat on, but you still got to. But now, do I be a parent or do I be a coach? I still try to choose to be a coach. But then again, the car ride home is different because now it's like we can have a conversation like, yo, there's going to be some nurturing and some hugs and all that good stuff. But then there's going to be like, yo, I know what you do because I take you when I work with you. So I see now when it's on the line, you approach it differently. And that's why, like, sometimes when I'm playing with Marley, I'm literally, I come at her like, I'm coming at her because I want her to understand, like, there's you got to be able to take your practice, and your practice is where you kill yourself. Your practice is where you struggle, because when the game comes, that's the walkthrough, right? The practice is really where you're like, you're struggling and fighting. But once you get to the game, you already know what to do. And it's like second nature at that point. But, then they get emotional and I get emotional and we just sit in the car and just chill.
Yes. And I think that's another difference. I think I'm pretty even across the board most of the time.
Yeah.
But I think that's also the benefit of not having an investment beyond the culture. I love all the girls.
Yeah, no,
treating them like my kids and all that stuff, but I don't have that investment past, whatever, because I do want to win and I do want them to get better. And I think that because, and I usually say this about coaching, that I'm a hard ass. I'm just not a mean hard ass.
You don't expect them to do anything that they are not capable of doing. That's the thing, right?
Got to learn how to first.
And the thing is, like, I see how you are with them, and I see how they look at you, and I see how you're able to scare away some people.
Yeah, I do.
But you know what, though?
Good. Then you didn't want to play. You don't want to play.
It's not even that. Because there was this one little girl. We know who the little girl is. She was playing because she hid her ass away because you asked her to do some basic shit. Yeah. And then she goes to another team because they don't say anything.
Yeah.
But if you're not challenged, how do you get better? Right? And the girl could have been good. I'm not saying that she won't be.
No.
But if she's not going to be challenged and she's just going to be like, oh, just go ahead and do what you want to do, at that point, how are you benefiting her?
But I must say that everybody, all the girls that I ever coached, all go through the same period of they have to adjust to how I am. Because it's very regimented. It's very structured.
Well, here's the thing. You are very regimented and structured, but you're also loud.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not a small guy.
Nope.
So, like, for instance, I think that is one of the things that kind of scares Maddie away.
Yeah.
Is because, but you know what's crazy? Is she deals with me. Oh, right? Yeah. And when I coach, like, I'm loud. Like, I'm, like, especially when it comes down to, and I'll say this too, like, since you asked as being a dad coach.
Yeah.
When somebody hits your kid.
Oh.
Right? So here's my thing. And I said this earlier. This is where I've literally pulled them aside and I said, I don't want to hear you say anything. I want you to just go out there and kill them. Like, that's it. Just go out there and do what you have to do and let that be what speaks for you. Because am I frustrated? Yes.
And that's funny because you know what I told her?
What?
Hit her back.
Yeah. And now me, I'm like, I don't want to. And this is why, right? Now, mind you, I'm not saying don't hit her back. I'm not saying like, like, body her up.
Yeah.
But I want you to just go out there and just light her ass up. Like, do what you have to do to make them understand, like, yo, you just don't mess with me,
Exactly.
But yeah, it's tough seeing, and I don't care, even as a fan. Like, I was just watching Maddie play. I watched Maddie play last week. She got hit, right? She got hit with a pitch. Now, as the parent, I'm like, are you all right? Are you good?
Yep.
But as the competitor,
I
was like, get up.
Like,
literally, just get up. Like, if, I don't want them to ever see, especially if you're hurt, you're hurt. If you're injured, let's get you off. But if it hurts, yo, that's life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to push through all of those things. It's going to happen. Some things that you have to deal with and kind of tackle. And I think that's another metaphor for sport, is that, it's about how, like Rocky says all the time, it's not how hard you get hit, it's about how you get up. Yeah. You have to get up. You're going to get hit with all these things throughout your life. Let it be you had a crappy day at work. Let it be on your way to work, you got into a car accident. But at the end of the day, you got to let all that stuff kind of go, and you got to still move forward.
Facts. I like it. What is it that, if you were going to critique, this is a fun question, what would you critique about my coaching to make it more like you?
Nothing. I don't want you to be like me.
Okay, what would you critique about my coaching then, since you want to be politically correct?
No, I'm not being politically correct. Let me explain why I said that. I think every individual brings something specific.
Oh, yeah.
And what you bring, like, I've seen the click in the girls, right? I would never want you to be like me, because, like, the difference in excitement, the difference in just that aha moment, it comes out differently, right? You could bring things out of the girls that maybe I can't, because of how you approach it. Like, if I could critique anything, it would be, I would want you to be harder on the girl. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm telling tomorrow.
And the reason for that is because, like, especially now, with the fact that we got Marl, who's going to high school, we got girls on our team going to high school, their coaches ain't going to be nice.
No.
Right? Their coaches are going to push them. And the reason why I would say for you that I would like to see you be a little bit harder on them is because we're preparing them for that.
Oh, of course.
So I think being able to understand, like, oh, you made a mistake, run. That's not me saying, like, I'm not mad at you, but
I know that.
there has to be a level of accountability in some cases for the team, right? But here's the flip side. And this is, I don't know if you've ever heard me say this to them.
No.
It's like, okay, who's got to run? She does. Nah. Y'all do. Because this is a team. And if one person makes a mistake, we all make a mistake, because it affects us all. So if we got 20 laps to run and we got 10 girls, but we do it together, I'm not adding 20. I'm not saying every girl does 20. I said there's 20 laps. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? So now
that means 200 laps. I respect it.
Yep. If every girl takes 2, what did we just do? We just built everybody up, because we know everybody on this team got each other's backs. Everybody just got better because everybody had to go through this drill. Now, at the end of the day, when the game comes around, you know what I'm saying? Everybody knows and they know who they can lead.
And that's a good point. I like that, because we're building up, though. It's a progression.
Yeah.
First year, they have to learn how to do the shit.
Yep.
This year, we got to teach them how to play. Last year, we won really because of defense.
Yeah. Defense wins chips. Let's go.
Of course it does. Right? But coaches don't teach that. Let's see. Where to go? Anne Frank said, "How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world." What do you think you bring to the world to improve it on a daily basis? In whatever aspect. It could be work, it could be parenting, it could be home.
I'd say I always try to bring positivity to the world.
Mm-hmm.
I walk out. I don't care if you're across this, like, if we're in a parking lot and I'm at a door and I see somebody get out their car and they are walking to that door, I will literally sit there and wait for them. Let it be 10, 20 seconds. I'll sit there and hold that door.
Mm.
Now, I don't care if it's a man, woman, child, whatever. And I think the reason that I do that, well, I'm not going to say I think. The reason that I do that is because at the end of the day, it's just a little bit of light that person might need for the day. And you don't know, like that little bit of light could be the one thing that gets them to do, to give it to somebody else who might need it. And I don't know what you're going through. You might have just had a real shitty morning, and holding that door for you to go get your coffee could be the one thing that's just like, oh, you know what? Thank you. For instance, I know this is real silly, but the smile I had and the moment I had with Maddie was priceless. So, do you know the whole ducks, Jeeps and ducks? You know the whole story behind it? Like people duck you if you have a Jeep? No, you don't. I'm looking at your face. So they take rubber duckies and they put them on your Jeep.
Oh.
It's meant for you to you find it, brings a little joy to your day.
Mm-hmm.
So my kid takes these ducks, right, and writes messages on these ducks. Have a great day. Smile today. Be positive today. Whatever it is. To see her do that, right, or to write a message on it is, to me, incredible because I feel like I'm raising a good human. So,
of course you will.
That's also what I feel like I'm bringing to this world, is raising good humans. So that when they go out into the world, people get a little bit more of that light. But somebody ducked me on April 17th.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I know it was April 17th is because I closed on my house that day. So when we walked out, it was there. And to me, it was just like, damn, you know what? We just sold the house. I got ducked. It's a good ass day. I just got to watch you. She just she performed in a play. So I was like, I just got to watch you perform and, all this other stuff. Everything just felt like it was all coming together.
Mm-hmm.
So like, to me, that's me holding the door. It's just like bringing a little bit of positivity to somebody.
Nice.
How about you? What do you bring to the world? Let's see about that. So
me?
I ask you questions.
Oh. Of course you can ask me questions.
I don't know I can. I just did.
I think that I try to bring understanding for people of who they are. So I think it's unfair for me as a coach, not because of talent or anything, but because having a therapist background, most shit just doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Most things don't bother me, and understanding like nuance with how to react to like with Maddie versus Marl, how I interact with them. It's a different dynamic. Maddie, it's always, oh, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then she kind of will do her little thing. So I'll stop talking to her. I pick up on that. Not because I don't want her to like me or anything like that, or I want her to not like me. It's just understanding who she is as a person. It's understanding who Marl is. And Marl needs to click. In the way that Leah clicks and Adri clicks, in the way that, even Maeve clicks. Maeve might only get to 8, but that's Maeve. She's clicked. So she knows what she needs to do.
Yeah.
So understanding that and helping people understand themselves. Like if you ever go onto my website, carterlifecoaching.com, go onto my website, one of the things I say is I want people to figure out who they are, helping them find that gift inside themselves. That's what therapy is. That's what coaching is. That's what being a good friend is. That's what, you saying, hey, Kelly, can you work with my daughter or, son, whatever, because I just don't understand working with girls. And first you have to get them past the fact that they're girls and teach them basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to let them see that, it's not about being less than or being different. It's about a different skill set that you have to bring to the table.
I think a better skill set.
Of course, girls learn so much quicker because boys think they know it. They think they know it all.
That, and I also think that when you look at boys basketball,
mm-hmm.
they can rely more on athletics and
of course
athleticism and all this other stuff.
Yep.
While like when I watch the like girls game, it's like watching Tim Duncan play, let's say, or watching the boys game is like watching Michael Jordan play, where it's like, it's not all about just the athleticism and all this other stuff. It's about getting the basics down. Like I truly, if for anybody wanting to learn how to play basketball, go watch the girls.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it is a beautiful game to watch.
Right.
But
yeah, 100%. Like if you, what was my question going to be? Coaching, not coaching your daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Take, you know what? Actually, I want to ask you about what's it like coaching softball?
I don't coach softball.
Oh, I thought you coached softball. Okay, my bad.
I watch softball.
Okay,
so
I thought you coached.
Denise, I coached 1 year.
What was that like?
Horrible. I gotta explain why. I don't know. I don't know shit about softball.
Yeah.
So like, I'm trying to teach all the basic stuff or whatever. Like, it got to a point I was like, I had to come home like, babe, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But to her, it was like, yo, it's not even about that right now. It's just really about getting them out there and trying to get them to enjoy the game, which is what I did. I just switched it to say like, yo, let's just go out and have fun because, there's only so much I can teach you. But I can teach you how to be competitive. I can teach you how to have fun. Yeah. I can teach you how to, rely on the people who are around you. Which is kind of what I did. But I didn't I really wasn't great at teaching them skills on how to hit, how to pitch, and all that other stuff. So, yeah.
So you have a new experience coming up next year, not coaching Marl and being just a dad.
Can't wait.
Listen, everybody asks me, don't you want to coach Devin and work out Devin? No. Because he's not not that he doesn't listen, and because he's not a disrespectful kid. He doesn't respond to me coaching and training the way other kids do, so I don't try. Yeah. If he asks me questions, I answer his questions. But I much rather go to his game. Like he was like, "Oh, did you record?" No, fool, I was watching you play. Like I don't do this the whole time. I go, I watch, and he'll have people recording him and stuff. Because to me, it's not about the highlights. It's not about watching the video. It's about watching you play and watching your experience and seeing, are the little things I can help him with if he asks. So what's that experience going to be like for you next year? What do you think?
I think it's going to be very enjoyable because I'm looking forward to just watching her play and not have to, you missed your spot. More like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to do that. Yeah. Now I have to just sit back and be a supportive parent. You know what I mean? Like, I can't wait for here's the thing. I'm like that with Maddie too right now because I'm coaching softball, but I'm always there and I'm supportive. I make sure that she hears me when I'm there. I make sure that I'm one of the loudest people when she's up at bat, when she's in the field, when she makes a play, whatever. So now when it comes down to Marley on the flip side of basketball, it's going to be the same thing, but the one difference is going to be on the ride home, similar to what you're saying. If you ask me a question, I actually have enough knowledge to answer it and say, okay, well, maybe if you try this, maybe if you do a dive screen here, like whatever, like I could just have like a different conversation with her than I can with Mad because I don't necessarily know the sport. But I am so looking forward to being able to just sit, watch, take it in, and just enjoy it.
I love it. I love it. I always say when parents come up to me and say, my kid's not really good, I said, well, they come here to learn how to play.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to play first before you can actually play. Kobe said something where he was saying that the reason why I was better than everybody or excelled past everybody is because everybody else got tired of doing the basic stuff.
Yeah.
And that's, what you'll see next year is I started to have the girls start practice. I know you haven't been there in a while, but I started to have like Leah and them run practice. You know the beginning of what we do. You should be able to do the first half an hour. When I was coaching the older girls, they would do the first 45 minutes without me.
Yeah. They know what to do.
It's muscle memory. You should know what you need to do. And then we mix it up every now and then. So when they're like, but what I like about coaching girls as opposed to boys, girls listen. And if you show a girl something, she'll do it the way you showed her. Boys, it's all extra stuff.
I wish like I don't have that experience with Marley. Like I try to. She is so like visual.
Yeah.
Right. So I literally like try to take her through like footwork drills. Like I'm literally like you go here, then you go here.
Yeah.
And then, like.
Have you shown her videos? She might do better with videos.
Yeah, she might. You know what? That is something I should do. The one thing that she's doing really well with right now is the Dribble Up app.
Okay.
So it basically takes her through her whole dribble drills. She does like 30, 40 minutes of dribbling every day.
Oh. So I'm gonna be impressed tomorrow then. Okay.
I don't know if you're gonna be. I'm hoping.
Of course I'm gonna. Why wouldn't I be?
Hey, as long as she doesn't clam up, she should be okay. But like when it comes down to her shooting drills, it's kind of just like you said, it's all about the basics. Like the one thing I'm trying to tell her is like right now, like this is the time where you separate yourself from everybody else because
especially as a ninth grader.
Yep, you got to figure what you want to do.
Yep.
Like, do you really want to do this? Because if you really want to do this, there's a level of dedication that, again, my 30-year-old self would have told my 12-year-old self, like, focus and just go through it.
Yeah. Because I think that my issue was when I was that 16, 17, I love basketball, but I didn't love basketball. Love it to want to play in Europe, to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and shoot 5. I knew that about me. I knew that when I got to college, that when I made a team, if I made a team, that that was me. That was my ceiling.
Yeah.
Right. I'd much rather. I get more joy now out of coaching. Like I like playing and stuff and putzing around, but watching the kids get better.
I love. I mentioned it before, like the aha moment.
Yeah.
Love seeing that look on the kid's face when you say something and it finally clicks and they're just like, they go into a game and then they do it and they're just like, holy shit, like it actually worked. Like, yeah, like this works. You know what I'm saying?
The drive we won, the layup that, Leah hit the layup. How many times did we do that in practice?
Oh, yeah. You talking about that reverse?
No, the regular one. The one where she won. The one with 6 seconds left. How many times did we do that? It's like we practice that. So it becomes muscle memory. And what's funny is I told, Leah's still playing straight up and down like a robot. I'm like, when she clicks and stops thinking and just starts playing, you know what it is. It's going to be different.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those like moments where she sees it and it's like she does a move that she wasn't she wasn't planning on doing, but it just happened.
Yeah.
And it happened because her body knew what to do and she didn't have to think about it.
Me and Ray, my boy, were talking about this earlier. I was saying that the problem is that people are trying to teach what Michael Jordan, his improvisation. But Michael Jordan already knew his basics, and he was improvising from the basics. You can't skip the basics and then try to teach the improvisation, and that's the problem.
Yep, I agree.
Like Denzel said in Remember the Titans, just like split pea soup. I got 6 plays. Oh, Novocaine, he said. It's going to work eventually.
I remember that one. That's a great movie, by the way.
All right, let's get to the shits. Let's get to the nerd shit, the fun stuff. What's with the fucking fish tanks? Talk to me about this. When did this start? When did this come about? Like, you have like a pool in your living room or your den, whatever that is?
I got a pool in my so basically my dad had tanks when I was a kid. I've been a pet. I've been like an animal person since I was like 6. I've always had some kind of reptile or something. I've always had something. So I'll say about 10 years ago, I was like, I want to get a fish tank. So Denise was at a church swap. And they had a fish tank there. So she was like, it's only $75. I was like, let's do it. That $75 was the worst $75 she ever spent in her life because it's an addiction. Like, you know, for me, it's peaceful. It allows me to just kind of
get lost.
Yeah, get lost, reset.
So has it replaced basketball and motorcycles?
No.
Okay. Because you said something similar about motorcycles and ball.
Yeah, but basketball and motorcycles was kind of like a freeing feeling, but this is more just like a kind of like a relaxing type of situation.
Okay.
So having it, let's say in my living room, was something where everybody could be doing their thing, watching, like we're doing a family movie.
Yeah.
I'm here watching the movie, but I'm here doing this. The one thing about having a fish tank, especially a saltwater fish tank, a reef tank, is that not only are you in charge of everything in there, but when you actually start to really see it kind of flourish and grow, it's one of those things where you're like, damn, like I'm doing some shit right. And then you're like, well, how far can I push it? To the point, like you can get something that's like an inch frag, which is what they call like a little coral.
Okay.
And then grow that inch frag out to like a full colony, which is, you know, it's rewarding to be able to see, like you could literally go in every day and start to see some growth.
So what is this S1000?
S1000 is 87-inch fish tank. It's about 280 gallons of water.
280 gallons of water.
Yeah. It's a nice tank. You could fit in it, if I could say it that way. I mean, literally, you could lay in it. It's that big. I haven't
use the fuck out of me.
So it's if I set it up, I don't know if I'm gonna. It's one of those things where.
Wait, what's next to you?
This is my little one.
That's big ass thing's a little one.
This is little. It's only it's 20 inches. The other one's 7 feet.
I understand. But where does that go? Does it have its own room?
Yeah.
So, all right, hold on. Now, anybody who saw Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous heard the word opulent before.
No, it's not.
Let me finish my sentence. I think we all have things in our lives that are opulent.
That's
an opulent fish tank.
It is. So here's the thing about this fish tank. I haven't even decided if I'm setting it up yet. And the reason why I say that is I recently had a
total loss.
Complete total loss.
Your third system.
Yeah. Where I lost every single fish, every single coral, everything done. So I had a lot invested in that. Not necessarily just the financial part, but I had stuff in there that I had 5 to 6 years. So to come home from my daughter's tournament and then literally go in there and start scraping shit out of the bottom of the fish tank sucked. So I don't have it in me to really start that whole thing up again because it's a process. However, one thing that I do enjoy about it is it's something that I really do get to bring the kids in on. They enjoy it. I have a little bit of a sciencey mind. I know sciencey isn't a word, but
A little bit.
a bit of a science mind where I have the opportunity with this to kind of really figure out chemically how to balance all this stuff out, and play around with stuff, so it's just, as I said, it's a rewarding hobby to be in. And it just kind of keeps me to a point just grounded.
The 7-foot fish tank.
Hey, well, you got
almost
the room.
Almost 300 gallons.
Yeah.
I will. That's one of my goals. What is the most rewarding and most disappointing thing about having half a room full of fish?
As I said, the growth aspect of it, knowing that you're doing some things right.
Yeah.
The most disappointing is what I just experienced. Just because of the way that it happened. I went into it's not even a room, it's in my garage. I'll say it like that. So I went into my garage and I fed my fish that morning. I was like, oh, everything's good. And then to come home to be like,
what happened?
The seam popped. So
the water drained out of the.
So you see this black. I don't know if you see the black line. So that black line is holding this piece of glass here to this piece of glass here.
Yeah.
So basically, it popped. So all the water just came out, but it was the seam down here, like that's on the bottom. So all the water just poured, cascaded out. And if it was on the side, I would have been okay because then this would have still been. I would have still had some water in there.
Yeah.
But as it was on the bottom, everything just exploded out.
And the fish just suffocated to death.
Yeah. This is the second time this has happened to me. The first time it happened, it was actually at a shop, like all my fish were at a shop, and the shop experienced the fire, and I lost everything. So yeah. It's been a trying couple years with this hobby, but I do like my water boxes, so hence the reason why I have this one here. Just to kind of, again, this is my office, so I just kind of, do whatever.
Okay, that's awesome. That's things that I don't get, I think are cool.
Well, the thing that's crazy is, I still remember, like when we were house hunting, I was like, yo, I want to have this type of room. I want to have this type of thing so I can put the tank in it. Yeah, I got kicked out the house. She put me in the garage. Over there.
Denise don't fuck around.
Nah, she ain't fucking around. She kicked me out. So, but I got plans. If I do it and I do it the right way, I'm going to actually build a room in the garage because it's like it's a pretty big garage. So I'm going to build a room in there. I'm going to make that I'm a cigar guy too. So
hold on. Look at the cigars. Don't worry. I got a lead and listen.
Hey,
you can't tell I did my research.
I could tell. You asking specific questions. So when I build that room out, I'm going to vent it. I'm going to have it where, at least I can make it where it's enjoyable. So if I want to go and it's the middle of the winter time, I'm not necessarily a guy that likes to go out. I kind of like I'm more of a homebody. So I would much rather prefer sitting in there with a fish tank and a cigar and relax.
Okay. You also like your steaks and your meat. I'm not.
Love my steaks.
So, all right, we're gonna go with some either or questions. And then why? Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
What?
I've always been drawn to Marvel since I was a kid. Like I've always collected Marvel comics. I still have a ton of Marvel comics. And realistically, they make a hell of a lot better movies than DC does.
Might change. That might change.
I hope it does, man, because DC got some dope characters, but they always just shit the bed with the movies. They do make some banging animated flicks, though. I will say that.
Dark Knight. Where's the Dark Knight in your comic book movie lexicon? Number one. Thank you. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Joker or Batman?
Joker or Batman? Ooh, well, they're the same person. Let's
Joker
unpack
or
that.
Batman?
Unpack it.
Joker or Batman?
I mean, I'll take Batman.
Pourquoi?
So, I mean, yeah, he got his. I know he has his issues. But he got, at least he can chill. He can go out. You know what I'm saying? Like the Joker. Well, I know he got Harley, but that's about it. And that chick is crazy. I like Batman. Got a couple of different options. You know what I'm saying? He gets to go do what he has to do.
What if I told you? What if I told you Joker's the hero and Batman's the villain? Batman's the bad guy.
I would probably agree with you.
Woo! I like it. I finally got somebody to co-sign.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, I've seen a couple of different, like, remember when I said I think that they're the same person? Like, there was one book that I read where it was basically Batman, and like it was something that he made up in his mind, and it was just like it was wild.
Yeah,
but yeah, like I mean, I will say this: Batman to me is like Batman and Tony Stark are the same fucking person. Sorry, they both are superheroes because they got money. They're not superheroes with all these gadgets and shit.
But Batman's a trained fighter.
You're right. But that still doesn't make him like he doesn't have any superpowers.
What did he say? What did he tell Flash? I'm a billionaire.
I got money, bitch.
He said, I'm a billionaire. Did you see Justice League where he said, "What's your superpower?" He said, "I'm a billionaire. I'm rich." You're right.
I agree with you there. Like I think watching Justice League, I like the extended cut. Like the extended cut was dope. The first one I didn't really like when it came out, but the Zack Snyder version was pretty dope.
Yeah, I think there's too much slow-mo. It was probably about, for me, it could have been like 3.5. I would have probably been a little bit better with it. I think it was a little too long. I was just like,
it was a COVID watch for me, so it didn't like it was 4 hours of I could pause it and do something and come back to it.
Oh, I could do that too, but still 4 hours is a lot for me.
I agree.
Darth Vader or Darth Maul? I know you like Star Wars. I did my research.
I mean, I like Maul. I got to give reasons though, right? I like Darth Maul, but he was. I mean, even Vader was a follower. He never really got his full potential, I don't think. But Vader was always restricted.
Yeah.
Like he can't live without a suit. And I would never want to be restricted to that point. Like I was still, unfortunately, I mean, I'm not gonna say unfortunately, but there was a period where Maul gets cut in half too, and he's more like robotic than anything else. But he still was able to. He wasn't reliant on the legs to live, while Vader couldn't live without the suit. But I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind. There's a couple times I wouldn't mind just force choking somebody.
I will forever say the end of
Rogue One.
Yo, when Vader came in like a boss.
Yo,
Vader came in.
Best
boom.
The best 2 minutes of any Star Wars movie ever.
Yes.
It was. But here's the flip side, and this is where I wish they didn't fuck up the whole thing, is because right after that is Episode 4. Now you saw how functional he was in that those 2 minutes of Rogue One.
Yeah.
But episode 4, my man was barely like walking. He was just like, and I get that it's an older movie, but they should have been able to kind of like, I just wish that they paralleled that more. I wish they actually gave him his own movie. Like something I actually read there's a Vader series that I read, and you kind of get a chance to see a little bit more of how he became who he is, and also how Palpatine or the Chancellor, whatever, how he restricted him, didn't allow him to become what he could have been.
Well, he couldn't. Then he could have overtaken him.
Well, nah, there's always two. That was why he was scared of his son.
Okay. Yoda or Grogu?
Yoda. I'll take Yoda all day. I mean, well, there's potential. There's potential with Grogu. But
Grogu's going to be more popular.
Well, I'm not worried about popular. Popular don't matter.
I'm just saying, listen, sir. This is a conversation.
But that's what I'm saying. Popular. I want to know. Like you look at Yoda. Like that, he was just a badass. You know what I'm saying? Grogu, who's going to train him? So that's kind of where that's kind of where it comes into play. Is like who's gonna do all of these things to get him to that potential, even though he has a very extended life. But we'll see.
Okay, Mike or Kobe?
I'll take Mike. But I'm gonna tell you, like Kobe's just he's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if the next question is, and if I'm going to foil it, I'm foiling it. I'm just going to say it. The fact that they don't put Kobe in this GOAT conversation and they just go over him and go straight to LeBron is a problem. Because LeBron couldn't beat Kobe at all. And the proof of that is when they played in an All-Star game and Kobe literally said to LeBron, yo, it's us.
Yeah.
You got the last shot. This is me and you right now. And what did LeBron do? Pass the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna say LeBron is whatever, but I just don't see him being in that conversation. I don't understand. Besides longevity and points and availability, like I give him that. Like he is probably the most available athlete ever.
Well, the first 18 years.
Nah, but I mean, even with that, like he's had little minor injuries. Like he hasn't had anything that's gonna like really set him back.
No, that's probably the steroids. He's lucky. He's had luck too.
Yeah, he has.
He's had a lot of luck. Was Thanos right or wrong
about that? I'll say. I think he was right, but I wouldn't want it to happen.
Okay.
Because it could have been like he snaps his fingers and I lose my kids. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to who was chosen during that.
Yeah, that's true.
But I agree with his the thought process.
The premise, yeah. Luke or Anakin?
I'm taking Anakin. Dude, I'm dark as hell.
I like it.
Let's be real. Like, and this is my thing, right? So you look at, if you're gonna ask me Jedi or Sith, I'm going Sith. But I have a reason, and that reason is a life without love just doesn't matter. Like, what's the point? And as a Jedi, you can't love, you can't have possessions, you can't have anything that is going to take your attention away from certain, like, that's not life.
You're just fighting for a cause.
Yeah, but
that's what you love is that's just the cause.
Who's to say that cause is right?
I'm not saying that. That's what they were told.
Yep. From birth, not from birth, from young children.
Yeah.
Or younglings. But it's one of those things where it's like when you look at the other side, right?
Mhm.
they have the opportunity of choice. They have the opportunity to love. They have the opportunity to do all these things. They might just be misunderstood.
Okay. 4 questions left. Top 5 movies of all time.
Man, all right. My whole movie category is all over the place. I'm Star Wars fan, but if I got to pick one, I'm going to probably go Episode 4. The Last Dragon is one of my favorite movies.
Mhm.
Singing in the Rain is one of my favorite movies.
Oh.
I love Tap. I also watched that growing up with my grandfather.
Right.
The Goonies, classic.
Uh-huh. That's 5.
That's 5.
5. You can give me another one if you have another one in your head.
No, I don't have another. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I didn't even know that was 5. That's 5. We have 5. We're good.
Yeah. Top 5 comic book movies of all time.
Ooh, top 5 comic book. I really dug the new Spider-Man. But I'll say if we got to pick the Miles Morales series.
Oh, Across the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, dope. I love that series.
That's 1 or 2 of them? Both of them?
I'm going to say the first one.
Okay.
I'll go with that.
Okay. Into the Spider-Verse. Got it.
Into Spider-Verse. Dark Knight. I mean, shit. I might have to. The one with Heath Ledger, I loved, and I love the one with Bane. So that's 3.
Dark Knight Rises.
Yep, that's 3. I did like Endgame, but I love Black Panther.
Black Panther in Endgame?
Huh?
Black Panther in Endgame?
Yeah, but now here's the thing. I got reasons.
Of course you do.
Into the Spider-Verse is the first.
That was just dope, yeah.
Well, nah. I don't give a shit if it was the worst comic book movie that everybody ever said that it. I don't care. That was the first movie that I got that Natty watched and was like, "Dad, let's watch it again. Let's watch." Like, it was just like a good bonding flick for us. You know what I'm saying? For me to kind of nerd out with a little bit. Black Panther was just a great. Like I might want to kick one of those out and put Wonder Woman in there too. And the reason why I say the first one with Gal Gadot, and the reason why I put that one in there is because, again, that was one of the first movies I got to watch with both of them where they were like, "Yo, this is dope." Like, both of them were digging it and they were into it, and it really was a good bonding moment for all of us.
Oh, okay.
Just because Black Panther that was the first time that I went to a movie theater and saw a white kid dressed up as a black superhero when it's typically a black kid dressed up as a white superhero. It just had a lot of power behind it.
Oh yeah.
Just to, like, we never got a chance to see that. And the fact that we did see it and it was as big as it was, and it was such a success of a movie. You never really got a chance to see people like us in power like that. And to me, it was dope. And the fact that, again, all of these things have like hits with me and the kids, because every single movie, the Dark Knight movies, those are ones I watched with Denise, and she loved those. So that's a bond that I had with her. Every single other one was because of me and the kids. They kind of took to it.
Okay. 2 questions left. Top 5 players, or you could do top 5 starting 5. It's up to you. Whichever one's easier for you.
All right. I know they're the same, but I'm taking MJ and Kobe. I put them on the same team.
So what? It's your list.
Nope, I know. I said I'm gonna take Steph because
he's light skinned.
Yeah, I gotta put one of us on there. I'm gonna take Larry Bird because he just cold as shit. Like, I love hearing the stories about how much he talks shit to people. Like, you gonna put the light on me? Yeah, I'm going 50. As a center, honestly, like, nah, I can't go Shaq. I like Tim.
Duncan? Well, he was a 4, but okay.
I know he was a 4, but I like him as he was just so. We talked about it earlier, like fundamentally sound.
Yep.
Well, he was competitive as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's hard to I can't say top 5 players, but like that 5 to me, I can't see that 5 losing because you can lock down people on the outside. Like, okay, Mike and Kobe can't drive. Fine. You got Steph and Larry out there popping from 3, and then you got Tim in there doing what he got to do.
They're going to lose to my 5.
Who's your 5?
Magic.
Love Magic.
MJ.
Yep.
KD. Duncan.
Okay.
And the daddy.
Shaq.
That's my boy.
I like Shaq.
Don't say but. I'll hang up. I'll hang up.
No. I like Shaq. And when I look at him as a player and I look at what he's done, I think there's a lot there to unpack with him. But the crazy thing about Shaq is that, I can't really see.
Okay.
Without, let's say, okay, how many chips is he winning without Kobe?
The same amount as Kobe's winning without him.
Exactly. How many chips is he winning without Dwayne Wade?
I don't know. If he would have stayed in Orlando, they would have won a chip.
Well, he had Penny. He had Nick.
But nobody's winning by themselves.
Huh?
Nobody's winning by themselves.
No. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. Like, he had a hell of a core down in Orlando. That team in Orlando was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the fact that if he stayed, him and Penny would have went on him. I don't think Jordan would have had all them championships.
No. All right. Last question, sir. If you could be any superhero or supervillain, who would you be and why? No, I said hero or villain.
I know.
Okay.
Hero or villain? Huh. I knew you were going to ask this question because I saw you ask this shit to somebody else. And I thought about it.
To everybody. It's the last question.
So, hero or villain?
Yeah. Or some people like to choose a power.
If I had to choose a power, I wish I could go back in time.
Oh, okay.
I really wish I could because, you asked that question earlier about what conversation would I have with my younger selves.
Yeah.
But I just wish that I would have the opportunity to go back to change. Like you would always say, I want to change certain things.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I can't change those because then I wouldn't have what I have right now. And then what's the point? Mm-hmm. So if I had to choose a superhero, I'm going to T'Challa. I'm going out like that. My man was rich. He had everything he needed. And towards the end, he was helping out with he was actually offering out his technology and his money to other areas to try to assist. He wasn't necessarily indestructible, but the damn suit was. So I'm going that way.
I like it.
Well, let me flip that because you said or a villain. I'm going Killmonger.
Oh, Killmonger was a G.
Yeah, I mean, Killmonger was the only light-skinned dude that I know that's out there like that. So let's go. You know what I'm saying?
The original.
I like the gold necklace and all that other shit that he had on in the movie. So
the original Rhodey was light-skinned. It was Terrence Howard.
I know. But we saw what happened to Rhodey.
Oh, he got.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know. That was his. Did you watch Secret Invasion?
I didn't finish that shit. I gotta finish.
Watch the end of it. Okay. I mean, it's whatever, but like for the storyline, you can watch it. Yeah.
I'll check that.
All right, sir. We have done it. We have accomplished our task. Where's Denise? She didn't come home yet?
She's home. She just got home probably about 20, 30 minutes ago.
Well, when the dogs were barking, why did she come in and say hi?
Because I'm here. And I was like, the door's closed.
All right. Well, sir, I appreciate it having you on the show. It was very enlightening.
Yeah.
It was wonderful to actually sit down and talk to you without basketballs and kids running around in our ear.
Yeah. That is true. The first time in a minute we had a chance to do this. So
yes, sir.
No.
I am back next week, the 17th, for Overtly Opinionated with me and Jimmy, plugging my shit. Let's see. I am back for 20.
I want to plug this too real quick.
Go ahead, please.
If anybody is out there that does happen to need or is looking to buy or sell a home, please.
What's your website?
I don't have a website. I'll give you my email address. My email address is Chris Booker, CHRIS, Booker, BOOKER, realestate@gmail.com. Any questions, even if, like, let's say you're not looking to do anything, but if you have questions about real estate, if you're looking to possibly doing any investing, you want to learn about some grants, some opportunity to get some money back in your pocket, if you are looking to purchase, just hit me up. I'm more than willing to help you out. And then if we could work together, that'd be great also. But more than anything, I'd love to be able to answer any questions you have.
Nice. Anybody has any questions for Mr. Booker, get at me, please.
Yeah.
We are done. So, as they say, I found a nice ending quote for you, Mr. Booker, and I'm going to kick you out. Let him that would move the world first move himself. Socrates said that. All right, Booker, it was a pleasure. You stay around. I will talk to you soon.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining in. We are about to go the bye-byes. And here we go.